10 famous court cases that set legal precedents, only to be repeated. Some court decisions throughout history have influenced legal systems and society at large, creating significant precedents that still have an impact on society today. These cases have established fundamental legal principles ranging from significant decisions regarding free speech to groundbreaking civil rights rulings. However, several of these legal precedents have been reviewed and reinterpreted in light of contemporary societal issues, even with their landmark status. Examining 10 well-known court decisions that established important legal precedents yet were later repeated in different forms reveals how dynamic law is, always changing, adapting, and reflecting society as a whole. 1. The 1954 case of Brown v. Board of Education. Brown v. Board of Education, arguably one of the most important decisions in American history, signaling a sea change in the struggle for civil rights. The separate but equal theory put forward by Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896 was overturned when the U.S. Supreme Court declared that racial segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. Although Brown is frequently credited with bringing an end to officially sanctioned segregation, racial disparities in education still exist. Courts have continued to debate affirmative action, unequal school financing, and practices based on race in the years after the decision. The Supreme Court declared in the well-known case of parents involved in community schools v. Notwithstanding Brown's achievements, racial disparity in American education is still a developing problem that is frequently brought up in different legal contexts. 2. The 1966 case Miranda v. Arizona. One of the most well-known defenses in American criminal law, the Miranda rights were created by the landmark case Miranda v. Arizona. The Supreme Court decided that people detained by the police have rights that need to be explained to them, especially the right to stay silent and the right to have a lawyer present when they are being questioned. But over the years, there have been other challenges to the Miranda verdict. The Supreme Court was forced to reaffirm Miranda in Dickerson v. United States 2000 in reaction to legislation meant to restrict its reach. Notwithstanding this affirmation, discussions concerning Miranda's usefulness in criminal law persist, making it a recurrent topic of discussion in the legal community. 3. The 1973 case of Roe v. Wade. One of the most divisive and significant decisions in American legal history is Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court upheld a woman's constitutional right to choose whether or not to have an abortion in this case, based on her right to privacy as guaranteed by the 14th Amendment's Due Process Clause. But after the Supreme Court overruled Roe v. Wade in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization 2022, the legal landscape surrounding abortion underwent a significant change. The Dobbs decision effectively overturned the national precedent established by Roe by giving the states back control over abortion regulations. The overturning of Roe demonstrates the malleability of constitutional interpretation and shows how even well-established precedents can be overturned. 4. Hodges v. Obergefell 2015. An important step forward for LGBT+ rights was the Supreme Court's decision in Obergefell v. Hodges, which made same-sex marriage lawful nationwide. The court used the equal protection and due process sections of the 14th Amendment to support its decision that same-sex couples have a constitutional right to marry. For instance, the Supreme Court addressed the conflict between religious freedom and anti-discrimination statutes in Masterpiece Cake Shop, Colorado Civil Rights Commission 2018, when a baker declined to create a wedding cake for same-sex marriage. Even after the right to marry was established, the practical application of this right raises ethical and legal concerns. 5. Federal Election Commission v. Citizens United 2010. The case of Citizens United v. FEC significantly changed the influence of money in U.S. politics. This decision changed the electoral scene in America by allowing companies and unions to spend a limitless amount on political campaigns. As a result, super PACs emerged. Since then, the Supreme Court has invoked this precedent in a number of cases, most notably McCutcheon v. FEC 2014, in which the court invalidated the aggregate caps on individual contributions to federal elections. The decision still shapes the legal parameters of political speech and spending, in spite of pleas for reform. 6. The 1896 case of Plessy v. Ferguson. The legal basis for racial segregation in the U.S. was Plessy v. Ferguson, until it was abolished by Brown v. Board of Education. Decades of systematic racial inequity were authorized when the Supreme Court decided that state laws demanding separate but equal public facilities for whites and African Americans were constitutional. Even if Plessy was overturned, racial discrimination cases in the legal system and the legacy of segregation still have an impact on current cases. This case serves as a reminder of the lasting influence that legal precedents, even those that are subsequently overturned, can have on forthcoming legal and social issues. 7. Wainwright v. Gideon 1963. A vital safety net for justice was established when the Supreme Court ruled in Gideon v. Wainwright, guaranteeing the right to legal representation for defendants who could not afford an attorney. Subsequent decisions like Argersinger v. Hamlin 1972, which extended the right to counsel to misdemeanor cases, have enlarged the precedents set by Gideon. However, problems with poor defendants' legal representation persist, especially with regard to public defense standards. The continuous difficulties in guaranteeing equitable representation for every accused individual exemplify the lasting significance of Gideon inside the American legal system. 8. Nixon v. United States 1974. United States v. Nixon was a seminal lawsuit that, following the Watergate affair, established the boundaries of executive privilege. The ruling emphasized the idea that everyone is subject to the law, even the president. Legal disputes concerning presidential authority are still influenced by the precedent this decision set. In situations concerning inquiries into the conduct of Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, the question of executive privilege was brought up again. United States v. Nixon is still a crucial precedent that upholds the rule of law's balance with executive authority by guaranteeing the responsibility of people in positions of authority. 9. Ohio 1961 Map v. Ohio. The exclusionary rule, which forbids the use of unlawfully obtained evidence in court, was created by the Map v. Ohio case. This ruling established a precedent that has influenced law enforcement procedures for many years and considerably reinforced the Fourth Amendment's protection against unjustified searches and seizures. The Supreme Court decided in Utah v. Strieff 2016 that evidence collected following an illegal stop could be utilized if an outstanding warrant was later found, re-examining the application of the exclusionary rule. Map is a widely cited case in contemporary jurisprudence because of the ongoing balancing act judges do between upholding public safety and safeguarding civil liberties. 10. Texas v. Johnson 1989. The Supreme Court held in Texas v. Johnson that burning the American flag in protest qualified as First Amendment protected speech. One of the main topics of discussion in American legal discourse is still the controversy over the boundaries of free speech, especially symbolic speech. The Texas v. Johnson decision is frequently cited in cases involving protests, hate speech, and other types of expression. This illustrates the continuous conflict between preserving social order and defending free speech. Summary. The 10 seminal court cases covered here have influenced current jurisprudence and helped to form the legal framework of the United States. These rulings, which range from criminal justice and presidential authority to civil rights and free expression, demonstrate the dynamic interaction between past legal precedents and current situations. These seminal decisions act as benchmarks when new cases surface, reminding us that even the most important legal wins are subject to review, revision, or reaffirmation in the interest of achieving justice and equality for everyone. Let us know in the comments what you think about this, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating content on our YouTube channel.